Hey guys, it's been a long time. Let's get this Zoomer going here. Woo, there we go. There's Pete, boy. Anyway, you can read the title, right? Full Ukrainian liberation from Russia, unrealistic. Pete Hegseth tells NATO. This still is an issue to me across the fake news YouTube world. When I say issue, not that this isn't true, this is actually true, but it's been true for months. The counteroffensive that you see Russia on today is over 18 months long in its making today. Imagine that. Even though it's slow moving, it's been an onslaught for 18 months of taking back land and territory, right? But you and I can go on YouTube, all the majority pro YouTube channels, and every day they'll show you, say, a drone blow up a Russian tank column, and then essentially talk a bunch of bullshit, but basically they hint or lead you to believe that Ukraine is somehow winning the war or going to win the war. And there's just no truth to it. It doesn't matter if a tank gets blown up or not. The days of counting army tanks that Russia have or doesn't have, those days are over. And they don't mean anything really at this point. Ukraine simply cannot liberate the army or liberate the land. Look, I think it's just kind of funny to where we've come from. In 2023, when Ukraine was doing really well, and they had that great counteroffensive, the initial counteroffensive that took like 1,400 square miles, it saved Odessa and all these places. They've taken back some nuclear power plants, and I don't even remember what the town is on the riverbank there anymore. It's just out of mind, outside. Don't care anymore. But they still got that under control, and good for them. But coming out 2023, the real prospects and the real idea was maybe we could get back, the Crimea Peninsula. And then 2024 came, and we had the 2024 comes. It's a disaster, and because we're almost 3 years into this, right? So it's a disaster. I don't remember. I've forgotten more than I know at this point. It's just I don't even cover it anymore because it's so ridiculous, guys. It's so ridiculous. I don't even see any point covering it anymore. But what I'm saying is that year, that second counteroffensive was so bad. Okay, that the United States, after the fall of Bakhmut, no longer believed Ukraine had the manpower to achieve objectives anymore. And guys, that was in the first winter of the war. Remember, the fall of Bakhmut happened on the first winter, full winter of the war. Okay, so that's where we've at. We've been this way for months, and people just won't listen. They won't lie, or they keep hoping that the United States will put troops there and save them, and or give them super advanced weapons. And they do have some pretty advanced weapons, but even greater weapons that will knock Russia out. And we allowed Ukraine for a very long time to punch really hard, right? But it's just not enough of it, or not enough to give to them, or whatever you want to classify it. But we're far from that today. We've been almost 2 years now with Crimea not even being a possibility anymore. And as we enter in 2025, Kherson was that river city that I couldn't think of. We're not even remotely close to that, to those realities anymore. We're not even thinking Crimea can be taken out. We can't even get an offensive push any longer. So Pete's just saying to the Allies, look, it's Ukraine can't take the land back. It'd be different if they could. But let's build on to where we're at today. In 2024, 30,000, you can see it right here, 30,000 desertions happened. That's what they estimate last year. With this saying another 100,000 men has gone AWOL. But this number 30,000 was just from what they estimated in 2024, guys. And we've been hearing about this for a long time now because Willie on YouTube has talked about it. History Legends or whatever his name is. He's talked in length about it. And yeah, and you just look. We don't even know. We don't know. No one actually knows on the YouTube sphere, if you will, how many troops Ukraine actually has at this point. But it's not a lot, and it's certainly not enough. I would think it's less than. I've been saying this for months now. I think their numbers, personally, are below 100,000 troops at this point. I think they're just barely hanging on. This doesn't mean Russia hasn't paid a price. Russia's paid a huge price. Okay? But this is why Ryan McBeth and all these guys who are, oh, I'm Mr. G.I. Joe and I'm going to come save Ukraine, blah, blah. Okay, go save Ukraine. But Donald Trump isn't saving Ukraine. There's no point. That war's been lost for months. And there's still, corruption taking place and whatever. So, anyway, the position of my YouTube channel has been for quite some time. The war will end probably sometime in 2025. I feel pretty comfortable saying that because it's only February. So, we're 2 months in to a brand new year, which means we have 10 months of negotiations. I think it will end this year. We've been saying that for months and months and months and months here on this channel, even though I deleted most of my content. But it's nothing new. If all this stuff just reinforces this, okay? We said long ago, when it looked like Biden probably couldn't win re-election, and this is before he stepped down, that it was probably unlikely that, excuse me guys, here. It was probably unlikely that Ukraine would continue on to get aid, or they would get a lot less of military aid. And that it looked very likely, since Donald Trump wanted to have an input on it, that war would continue. Well, it's just, but what I'm saying is a lot of people, even to this day, they're opposite of this belief. They live in a fantasy land. Well, that's not true. Or, this is, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. It's like they can't see the reality. Well, there's only two paths forward here. Once Trump was president, which is basically this. You come to the table with a realistic approach to peace and you get a deal done, or you deny to even sit at the table with Russia and hammer out some kind of agreement, and the United States, just under Trump, just to basically penalize you, just absolutely turns the spigots off to you. Now Ukraine can't fight the war. This has always been the likely outcome. When I say likely, I'm talking about the 90 percentile likely outcome. And it doesn't matter what Ryan McBeth says. It doesn't matter what Ukraine Matters says. It doesn't matter what Anna Ukraine thinks, or the Silicon Curtain, or any of these peons out there that don't know what they're talking about. Fake news Dennis. It doesn't matter what any of those guys think. They're like the majority of the thought out there. What's this other knucklehead on here who thinks he's some kind of foreign policy expert? That Paul Washburn or Berg idiot. What is he in, like, Utah? Like a Mormon or something? Okay, that guy's consistently wrong about everything. I mean, I wish I could just go back. I don't like going back, personally, because it's a waste of my time in my life. But just go back and listen. If you really care enough to know, go back and listen to them guys be wrong about every single thing. And yet, you kept watching them, thinking they were telling you truth. And it blows my mind. These people get paid thousands of dollars per month. Some of them even do hundreds of a month. But why? Because you watch their YouTube channel, you buy their merch, you buy their random shit on top of their ad revenue split that they get from YouTube. It's ridiculous. And for what? So that you can learn nothing. You know, I know some people are like, oh, but what about the, the peace agreement with Ukraine and the nuclear? It doesn't matter. That's what it comes down to. It doesn't matter. It never has mattered, because the United States never promised they were going to defend Ukraine. Okay? And secondly, once again, those weapons weren't actually Ukraine's weapons. They were Russia's weapons. So you either just get them out of the country, or you allow Russia to have them. Okay? Like I said, it literally just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Most of the time, this stuff doesn't matter. America will decide ultimately when it won't come fight and support somebody. That's all that matters. That's it. They make that decision. If China ever invades Taiwan, I don't think in my lifetime it's ever going to happen. I've been hearing it my whole life. I've been waiting my whole life, and it's never happened. There's militarily no way China can do it if America gets involved in it. And I don't see it happening. They need to have a Navy that's like America's Navy, actually capable to land a couple 100,000 troops at least to be able to pull it off. Missiles don't matter. None of that stuff matters. None of it matters. But they can't even get their Navy across China's sea just to even make that invasion possible. America doesn't even have to be anywhere near them. With the weapons they have, they could just be lobbing missiles from 100 miles away, literally 100 miles away, and be sinking Chinese naval vessels. China couldn't do it to us, but we can do it to them. Once again, I talk about all the time, it's the tip of the spear concept. That is the tip of the spear. America's tip of the spear. It can outreach you. It can out hit you. You got your little Roman gladius, and we got our Spartan spear. There's nothing you can do to it. I don't see it happening, but my main point in bringing this up is, if it even did ever happen, America's under no obligation to defend it. We don't know if it would or wouldn't. I would say as I get older, it's become less likely that it will defend it. Especially if you're going to continue to bring AI and computer chip making back to America, which we already. I mean, America created the computer chip, guys. We still lead the world in the most advanced computer chips in the world. I mean, I think this is becoming less of a factor the older I get, and it's just the way it is. Now, personally, the reality is different from my personal belief. In a personal view, of course, I would like to see America continue to put the screws to Russia. Yes, I would love to see America put the screws to China. I really would. But once again, the geopolitical reality is there's no obligation to do it. And I think as I become older, as I just pointed this out, it's becoming less likely that they will entangle themselves in these affairs, assuming they even happen. Even China's, what's it been, 3-4 years ago now? Even when China's own supercomputer told them they would lose the battle against America. I think supercomputers are stupid. Personally, they've never been right about warfare. Going all the way back to the Gulf War, the outcomes have never been what they said. The outcomes on the prehistoric ones they used in World War II, if America invades Japan to lose 200, no, they probably would have never lost 200,000 troops, right? They've always been wrong everywhere. I'm not a big fan of them because the only outcome they can give you is as good as the information you can give them to essentially run simulations. So, in other words, it needs to be very accurate or precise to get a very accurate, precise outcome. And this is why they're not very accurate or precise, right? They overvalue America's enemies and undervalue America's advantages. That's why they're always way off, okay? So, and it continues. But my point is, China's own supercomputer, when they ran simulations 10,000, 20,000 times, where the hell it was like, yeah, you're going to lose your entire navy and minimal 500,000 men. Yeah, you're going to lose that war. Okay, yeah, I don't see China signing up for that one. It doesn't matter if they have 1 billion guys or not. I don't see China signing up for that reality anytime soon, right? These are just gorillas pounding their chest, dick slinging or whatever you want to call it, and that's it. That's what it is, man. I wish I could tell you there was more magic, but there isn't. That's just the reality of those situations. All right, guys, here's the bottom line. We predicted months ago, way early on in 2024, the war would probably end in 2025. I deleted a lot of my videos. Some of them are there, some of them aren't. That's not changed. The only difference is Trump is president. Pete is telling NATO the realities that Ukraine simply can't take the land back. America has known that. Britain has known that since the fall of Bakhmut. And that was in the first year of the war, guys. The first year of the war. They're worse today than they were when America had already known the gig was over. The only people out there who continue to be, think otherwise are the dreamers. But there's no reality to it. So, there you go. The war is very likely to end in 2025. Like I said, it doesn't matter what Ryan Macbeth tells you. It doesn't matter. By the way, I actually like Ryan Macbeth, but it doesn't matter what those guys tell you. Okay? It doesn't matter. Anna, Ukraine matters, Silicon, it doesn't matter. Idiot Paul Washburn, or whatever the hell his name is, the guy, you just go watch their past videos. They are consistently wrong about everything. They're open to talk about anything, but they're the ones that always put themselves out there as saying things like, "Well, I'm a geopolitical." They don't work in geopolitics. Those guys don't know fucking anything. I don't even know if they know how to brush their own teeth or wipe their ass. They're just riding the wave of YouTube fame. Mostly because Americans, generally speaking, are stupid today. I hate saying it as an American, but it's just reality. And I'm not talking 2 plus 2 is 4, but even that's getting kind of scary nowadays. There's not a lot of brain trust, right? A lot of confirmation bias there too. To get to point A to point B, despite all the other facts in between, they just skip right over the top of it. Like a pogo stick. Boom, they skip right. I mean, it's ridiculous. No one even knew who that Paul dude was until like maybe a year ago or a year and a half ago. None of these guys are experts. The Silicon Curtain guy's an idiot. They're all idiots. They literally became famous off the backs of hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians and Russians troops dying. That's not a good thing to be known for. Talk to you later, guys. Have a good week. And here in North Dakota, it's freezing. So I hope wherever you're at, you're way warmer than we are. Talk to you later, guys. Bye.